Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Everybody,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to everybody. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We'll make a start. Welcome to chapter a day of Bhagavad Gita. We are on the 11th chapter of this wonderful wonderful literature called Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and we are fast approaching the most auspicious months of all the months, Adhik Maas or the Purushottam Maas, which is actually considered by Lord Krishna directly to be even higher than the month of Kartik. So we are really blessed to have this month coming. The devotee looks at every adverse situation as an opportunity to progress in Krishna consciousness. So in that spirit, we should also take this coming month. Although the situation is not very favorable, we cannot be in Dham because it is explained the same devotional service performed in Dham during this month has 1,000 times more benefit than it would normally. However, we also understand the higher understanding from our Acharya, especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who explains that Dham is where a pure devotee is and Dham is where the other devotees are. So we are very much situated at a Tirtha Bhaktivedanta manner among some really wonderful associations. So let's take an advantage of this association in this holy month and take shelter of Bhagavad Gita, where we will be reciting the Purushottam Yoga, the chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. And we will do some special program like how we do so that devotees have a benefit to reap more spiritual benefit by taking part in the Sankirtan Yajna in this wonderful month. So we'll have a session of that, update you more on that. So let me share my screen, and we have Yash who joined us and Sridham. So Yash, are you okay to do Sanskrit today and Sridham can do English, and then tomorrow we can swap?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Welcome Yash. Welcome Sridham. So hopefully you can see my screen. So Yash, you can start with the invocation prayers and begin with the text 28.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yatanadinam Bhavamabu Vegaha Samudaram Eva Bimukhadravanti Tatatavami Naraloka Vira Vishanti Bhaktarani Abhivejvalanti.
As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths.
Yata pradiptam jvalanam tatanga Vishanti nashaya samreda vega.
This little boy is reading Sanskrit.
Nashaya vishanti lokas Tavati
Sorry,
Vaktrani
Yash. Yash,
samreda vega.
yeah. Give me 1 minute. I'm just going to mute everybody to make sure everybody's muted. Okay. You can unmute yourself now, Yash. And Sridham, you can do the text 29 English translation.
Okay. Text 29. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths, as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire.
Lahiya segra samana samantal Lokan samagran varane juvalad bihi Tejo birapyurya jagat samagram Vasastavograha pratapanti Vishnu.
O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouth, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays.
Akyahi me ko bhavan ugra rupa Namostute devavara prasida Vigyatumitrami bhavantamadhyam Nahi prajanami tattava pravrityam.
O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kalosmi Lokakshaya Krit Pravrido Lokan Samartum Eha Pravritaha Ritepi Tvam na Bhavishyanti Sarve Yevashtitaha Pratyanyekeshu Yodaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am the great destroyer of the world. I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
Tasmat Tvamutishta Yashola Basva Jitva Shatrun Bhunakshva Rajyam Samridam Maye Vedeni Hatapurdvameva Nemeta Matram Bhavasavya Sachin.
Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight.
Drainam Chabishmam Chajayadat Drainam Chabishmam Chajayadaratam Cha Karnam Tatanyan Apiyoda Viran Mayatam Stvam Jahima Vyatishta Yudyasvajeta Sirane Sapatnan.
Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in battle.
Sanjaya Vacha Etat Strutva Vachanam Keshavasya Kritanjalir Pamanaha Kiriti Namaskritva Bhuya Evaha Krishnam Sagad Gadam Beta Bitaha Pranamya.
Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands. Again and again, he fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows.
Sorry. Arjuna Vacha Stane Rishikesh Tava Prakirtya Jagat Praharsyatya Anurjate Cha Raksam Shiveta Nidisho Javanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Seda Sangaha.
Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you the respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done.
Kasmachchatena Namaran Mahatman Gari Yase Brahmanopi Adikatre Ananta Deve Shajagan Nivasa Tvam Aksharam Sad Asatat Param Yat.
O Great One, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer the respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless One, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are invincible. You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation.
Tvam Adideva Purushaha Puranas Tvam Asya Vishvasya Param Nidanam Vedasi Vedyam Cha Param Cha Dharma Svaya Tatam Vishvamananta Rupam.
You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge, above the material modes, O limitless form. Soul cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you.
यायोर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्काः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्रकृत्वाः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते.
You are air, and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again and yet again.
Namaha Purushtadata Prishtataste Namostute Sarvata Eva Sarve Ananta Virya Mita Vikramastvam Sarvam Samapnosi Tatosi Sarvaha.
Obeisance to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything.
Saketi Matya Prasabam Yaduktam He Krishna He Yadava He Saketi Agyatamahi Manam Tavedam Maya Pramadat Pranayena Vapi
Thinking of...
Yaksha
Oh, sorry.
Yaksha Vahasar Tamasat Kritosi Veharasaya Sanabojase Neshu Ekotavapi Achuta Tatsamaksham Tatshamayetvam Aham Aprameyam.
Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as you relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses.
Etasya lokasya characharasya Tvam asya pugyascha gururgariyan natyat samosti abhyadika hakutonyo lokat rayepi apratima prabhava.
You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds? O Lord of immeasurable power.
Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasadayatvam aham isham idyam Piteva putrasya sakeva sakyuhu priyaha priyaya harsideva sodam.
You are the supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, or a friend tolerates the impertinence of a friend, or a wife tolerates the familiarity of her partner, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you.
Adrishta purvam vishtasmi drishtva bhayena cha pravyatitam manome tad eva me darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagannivasa.
After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again Your form is the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe.
Kirtinam gadinam chakrahastam echamintvam drastumaham tateva teneva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte.
O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see that form.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha Maya prasanena tavarjunedam rupam param darshitam yogat tejomayam vishvamanantaradyam yanmet vadanyena nadrishta purvam.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you, by my internal potency, the Supreme Universal Form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence.
I'm sorry. Na veda yagna dhyayaner na daner na chakriya bir na tapo birugrahi evam rupaha sakya aham narloke drashtum tvadanyena kuru pravira.
O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world.
Mate vyata ma chavimuda bhavo drishtva rupam goramidrin mamedam vyapeta bihi pritamana punasvam tad eva me rupamidam prapasya.
You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished, my devotee. Be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire.
Sanjaya vacha iti arjunam vasudevastatoktva svakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyaha ashvasayam asajapitamenam bhutva punaha samyavapur mahatma.
Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna.
Arjuna vacha drishvedam manusam rupam tava somyam janardana idanim asmi samvartaha sachetaha prakritim gataha.
When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardana, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind. I am restored to my original nature.
Sri Bhagavan vacha sadhur darshamidam rupam drishta vanasmi asiyan mama deva api asya rupasya nityam darshana kanshinaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear.
Naham veder na tapasa nadanena na chejaya shakya evam vido drashtum drisha vanasmi imam yata.
The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am.
Bhaktyatva ananya shakya aham eva vidarjana gyatum drashtum chatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa.
My dear Arjuna, Only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding.
Mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhaktaha sangha varjitaha nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu yaha sa mam eti pandava.
My dear Arjuna, who engages in my pure devotional service, free me from the contaminations
Free
of this,
from.
free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation. He who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
Thank you so much, Sridham and Yash. That was very wonderfully recited chapter. So we will move on to today's verse, and we will again like to have Yash and Sridham back tomorrow. Chapters. I will just share my screen with all of you. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Actually, I'll just open the Veda base. So I'll share that with all of you first, so we can recite the text 37. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Text 37. I'll bring up on my screen. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen now. It's text 37, which we'll be discussing today. Kasmakcha te nanamiran mahatman garya she brahmanopi adhikartre ananta devesha jagan nivasha tvam aksharam sat asat tat param yat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Great One, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you, O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe? You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. Purport. By this offering of obeisances, Arjuna indicates that Krishna is worshipable by everyone. He is all-pervading and he is the soul of every soul. Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Mahatma, which means that he is most magnanimous and unlimited. Ananta indicates that there is nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Supreme Lord, and Devesha means that he is the controller of all demigods and is above them all. He is the shelter of the whole universe. Arjuna also thought that it was fitting that all the perfect living entities and powerful demigods offer their respectful obeisances unto him. Because no one is greater than him, Arjuna especially mentions that Krishna is greater than Brahma because Brahma is created by him. Brahma is born out of the lotus stem grown from the navel abdomen of Garbhadakshayi Vishnu, who is Krishna's plenary expansion. Therefore, Brahma and Lord Shiva, who is born of Brahma and all other demigods, must offer their respectful obeisances. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord is respected by Lord Shiva and Brahma and similar other demigods. The word Aksharam is very significant because this material creation is subject to destruction, but the Lord is above the material creation. He is the cause of all causes, and being so, he is superior to all the conditioned souls within this material nature as well as the material cosmic manifestation itself. He is therefore the all-great supreme. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is just a quick recap where we are in the chapter. It's text 37 we are discussing, which is in the section 4 of this chapter. So these are the first two sections and what exactly is happening in this section, which we have mentioned few times now. And this is the third section where Krishna basically mentioned that his time and how he suggested to Arjuna that he becomes his instrument, and thereby suggesting all of us. And in the section 4, which is the current section we are on, now Arjuna is offering prayers to Krishna, having seen his universal form and actually having a sense of bewilderment, or even to a degree some fear, having seen this fearful form of Lord Krishna. And at the end, we will get into the conclusion, which depends. Most likely, we will do the part 5 after the Purushottam month. We'll come back to this chapter because we may give a break. There is a special significance of chanting the chapter 15 during the month of Purushottam. Today, I was having a call with the BBT global leaders across ISKCON world with His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, and we are there was a brainstorming going on in terms of the next thing after the Bhadra campaign, especially in the month of the Adhik Maas. So we were thinking of trying to encourage as many devotees as possible to come together and chant a chapter of Bhagavad Gita, because it's a great idea in this month of Purushottam months to be reciting this beautiful, beautiful chapter, chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. So we will do that, and then we will come back to section 5 after the month of Purushottam month. So from this particular section, Lord Krishna, it's explained that how Lord Krishna is the supreme Lord of all, and he is the maintainer, the protector of everybody, and he's simultaneously involved in an intimate relationship of love with his pure devotees. And we see in particularly here that how, although he's actually sitting or standing rather in the battlefield, speaking to Arjuna and telling him everything, displaying the universal form, but at the same time, as he was doing all those things, yet he was able to maintain his wonderful intimate relationship with Arjuna and the other Pandavas for that matter, actually. And what is Arjuna saying in his prayer in the previous text, which was covered by His Grace Mukunda Hari Prabhu very nicely yesterday? In the previous text, Arjuna recognizes Krishna's action as all good for everyone. And he says, after hearing from Krishna the outcome of battlefield and the observing universal form and response of demigods and demons. So what are the 2 points? The points were the world becomes joyful on hearing the name of the Lord, and everyone starts to become attached. So you see, this is what is happening when we take shelter of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. We become joyful, and the whole world also gets benefit because of this transcendental vibration which we are all trying to vibrate. And then you are worshipped by great souls, and demons are afraid and flee away. So Arjuna is explaining how all the various Mahajans, the personalities, everybody is worshipping the Lord, with all the paraphernalia, with beautiful prayers, and all over this creation, his worship is going on in some form or other, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what the text 36 covered. And now we will see in today's text what is happening. Krishna is worshipable by everyone. This is the main point of this text. And how so? You rightly deserve the obeisances to everyone, Arjuna is saying, because you are the God of all gods. The word used is Devesha. When I first time heard this term or read this verse, Devesha, it was my karmic name earlier, Devesh. So I thought, wow, I have a name of Krishna. And later I realized that I'm supposed to be not proud of having a name like Krishna, because there's going to be a Das next to it. So if not Das Anudas Anudas, 1 million times removed, as Prabhupada says. So then I understood, better not proclaim and be proud of having the same name of the Lord, rather try to be proud in a humble way, as I say it, by being the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And that proudness is not a material proudness. It in the sense is that you're happy and fortunate that you're situated in the parampara system and have access to the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and have access to the lifeline in the form of the holy name. So what is happening here? Arjuna is saying, you're God of all gods, the original creator, especially even greater than Brahma, who's the secondary creator. And he's invisible source of all and cause of all causes, transcendental to material manifestations. Let's take a pause here. Let me see. Let's do a little bit of a quiz here and see who remembers. Can somebody from the Shastra share a verse to explain the line here? Two aspects. The first one is how Krishna is invincible source of all causes. There are quite a few verses. Let's see if you can bring one or two verses to confirm this statement of Arjuna in relation to Krishna based on the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, let alone the... Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Ishvara Paramakishnaha Shrachidananda
Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda.
Sharvakara.
So could you please explain what that means, Mataji, for all of us?
Ishvara, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in Ishvara Paramakishna Shrachidananda, he is all blissful knowledge and eternal knowledge
and full of bliss.
Full of bliss. Shrachidananda, Anadirande Govinda, Sharvakara. He is the cause of all causes.
Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Yes. That was a spot on verse. Well done, Palika Mataji. Anybody else? There's possibly one more verse.
Verse 10.8.
Please.
10.8. Yeah.
10.8.
Okay, Rajesh Prabhu, could you please recite the verse if you know the verse, if not the English or the approximate English?
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam
Pravartate
pravartate
iti matva
bhajanti mam
bhuta bhava.
samanvita.
Thank you, Rajesh Prabhu. Could you just expand on that a little bit to an approximate translation of that verse?
Yeah, I'm the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything comes from me, and the wise who know this engage in devotional service and worship with all their hearts.
Wonderful.
There
Thank
is
you so
also
much.
10.2, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead.
Adirhi Devanam. Lord Vishnu or Krishna is the origin of all demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva.
Yes, he's the source of all. That's correct. That's a wonderful verse to establish that point. Thank you so much, Mataji. That was really nicely quoted, very appropriately. Thank you. So we've got some really nice Pandits, devotees here. That's wonderful. Let's go to the second point, which is transcendental to material manifestation. Let's have a couple of verses on that point. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna, here's a little hint for you, where Krishna is trying to say that, how do I put it to make it not so easy for you? So transcendental to material manifestation in the sense that he's explaining that this material energy is quite something, and I'm transcendental to it. So that's my hint. It's not a complete verse. Let's see who can quote that verse now.
Prabhuji, there is in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1 Janmadi Asya Yataha, where Krishna, it means that everything is generated from Vishnu, everything is maintained by him, and everything is annihilated by his energy. Therefore,
Which part of that verse is Divya Gaurangi Mataji, which says that he's transcendental to material manifestation? I'm just looking at the exact text to see if...
Yeah.
Yes, there is. Towards the end, I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representation of the material world. Okay, that's a very good verse. Wonderful. Another verse, anybody else from Bhagavad Gita? Thank you, Divya Gaurangi Mataji.
I think 9.10,
Which is?
9.10 actually, which is it essentially says this material nature, which is one of my energies, working under my direction.
Devi hi esha gunamai mama maya durataya. Is that right?
No, this is that
This is a
also is
different
true.
verse.
That also is true.
Yes.
This is 9.10 actually. Which is
9.10 is, oh, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. That's right. Hetu Nena Kanteya Jagat Viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rules, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Yeah, it is. And the previous verse, which I quoted, not previous to this chapter, that verse also talks about where Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna, Devi hi esha gunamai mama maya durataya. What are the last two lines? Devi hi esha gunamai mama maya durataya. Krishna, I'm forgetting such a famous verse. What is the part?
देवी एषा मयि मम माया दुरता मामेव ये प्रपद्यते मायामेतं तरन्ति
That's right.
ते.
Yeah.
Maya metam tarantite. That's right. This material energy of mine is very difficult to overcome, O Arjuna, but those who surrender onto me, they can cross beyond it. So in essence, what Krishna is trying to say, and Prabhupada mentions this part, is that Krishna is beyond this material manifestation. He's transcendental to this material manifestation. And these are some of the words which are being used here. The word aksharam is used to indicate that not perishable like material creation. Lord is not something who perishes like how our material body is subjected to decay, and it goes through 6 different changes. Like it comes into being, it produces, it grows, then it produces, it dwindles, and it dies, and there are 2 more elements. So altogether, it's perishable. But the word aksharam used in relation to the Lord is that he's not perishable like the material creation. I'm just going to mute everybody so that there's no background noises. And then the other second word uses Mahatma, the most magnanimous and unlimited. Lord is Mahatma. The word used Mahatma is also used for the devotees, because the word Mahatma means is the most important among the humans. So Lord is, in that sense, is the most important when he does takes a human-like form and appears in this realm of Vrindavan. The word Ananta is nothing is not covered by Lord's influence and energy. There's nothing. He's there in every atom. He's pervaded everywhere. And as I said, the word Devesha is referred, he's the controller of the demigods and above them all. And now we will have a look at what Srila Prabhupada talks about in some verses. As Divya Gaurangi Mataji very kindly quoted this verse, and there it is mentioned that everything exists is emanating from the Lord. जन्माद्यस्य यतः अन्वयात् इतारतश्चर्ते शवा अभिजना स्वराट्टेने ब्रह्म हृदये अधिकव्ये मुह्यन्ति यत्सुरयो. So in this verse, what is happening? It is explained the source. There is no source to the Lord. Even Lord Brahma, who actually appeared from Lord Krishna, he's even that knowledge of everything which Brahma needs to know about creation and transcendental knowledge was revealed to him in his heart, actually. So, and from Brahma comes everything else. So in that sense, Brahma is the secondary creator, as mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in this purport, and Lord Krishna is the primary creator, and that's why he's Aham Bija Pitaha. In Bhagavad Gita, he's considered the seed-giving father. He's the one who gives the original seed, not only just to creation, but even to the personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all these wonderfully empowered devatas. And in this particular text, maybe Divya Gaurangi Mataji, would you like to recite this verse for us?
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. Vasudeva Paraveda Vasudeva Paramakha Vasudeva Parayoga Vasudeva Parahakriyaha Vasudeva Param Gnanam Vasudeva Param Tapaha Vasudeva Paro Dharmo Vasudeva Paragatihi.
You can read the translation as well, Mataji.
In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is for realizing Him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by Him only. He is supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know Him. Religion, dharma, is rendering loving service unto Him. He is the supreme goal of life.
Beautiful. So here you see it is explained that the ultimate object of the knowledge is Sri Krishna. And what is that famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is saying that just before he says that the knowledge and the remembrance comes from him, and he's the goal of the Vedas. So let's see who could remember that verse.
Is it
Go ahead.
Pitamahasya Jagato?
No, Mataji.
Mata, no?
Or is it Aham Sarvasya Prabhava
No. It's about Krishna is saying that I'm the goal of the Vedas. Among the Vedas.
Haribol Prabhu.
Yes, go ahead. I'm to be known.
Is it
Vedas.
Vedescha Sarvem Ahameva Ved?
Vedyo. That's right. Go ahead if you know the verse, Mataji, you can recite it.
Vedescha Sarve Ahameva Vedya Vedant Vedanta Krit Veda. Yeah, sorry, I don't know the full.
That's okay. So what is the approximate translation of that? Could you tell us?
So the purpose of studying the Vedas is to know the Supreme Lord Krishna.
That's right. So that's the essence of the verse. And here in the first line, thank you, Neha Mataji. In this line, in the first line, it is explained that the purpose of performing or the object of the knowledge is Krishna. So the reason we take to the studies of the Vedas or spiritual matters is to understand behind this knowledge, the real object of this knowledge is Krishna. The purpose of performing all the sacrifice is to please him. Bhuktaram yagna tapassam sarva loka maheshwaram suhrida sarva bhutanam Gyatva mam shantim rachati. So not tomorrow, anytime, if somebody grabs you as you're walking around and asks you, Prabhu, it's been 5 months and I'm in the thick of this COVID-19. It seems to be not going again. And I'm really struggling to get a grip over this whole thing. And I'm completely frustrated and I'm looking for peace. Would you mind, do you have any formula? So let me ask you a question. Do you guys have a peace formula that you know of? You can share it with others?
The verse that you just recited, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. So you tell them that this is the peace formula. This is what when I met a first time, a very wonderful saintly personality, His Holiness Mahanidhi Swami in Radhakund. For the first time, my wife took me and introduced me to this wonderful, amazing personality, Prabhupada disciple. The first question he asked me was, okay, you're Devesh, you're Devokadev Devesh. That's how he referred to me. And he said, could you please tell me what the peace formula is? And I had all sorts of speculation coming from my my so-called material intelligence. And, I was saying this and that. And after burping all of that out, he turned to a couple of other friends of mine who were from London. And they speculated for a while. And then he turned to my wife and he said, her comic name was Barsha at that time, said, Barsha, would you like to tell us what the peace formula is? And then she quoted this verse and I was looking at it and I was like, oh my God. So Maharaj said, yes, that's the peace formula. People do not know this, that I am everything should be sacrificed for me. I am even the Ishvara of all the demigods. And one who knows me in that way, he attains the peace from the miseries, from all the miseries, all the pangs and miseries. So when we try to understand, okay, Krishna is actually the Yagneshwara, he's the one for whom every single sacrifice should be performed. What that means in a practical terms, when we take some tapa or some austerity of fasting Ekadashi, fasting on the festival days, please remember you are doing this as a devotion to develop your devotion towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What you're trying to tell him is that, my Lord, today my senses are engaged in material sense gratification, but on this auspicious occasion of your Ekadashi, somehow or other I've been told by saintly personalities that I should reduce the activities which are in relation to my body and engage the same energy and effort for progressing in Krishna consciousness. So when you are praying to the Lord in that way, that is called actually performing a sacrifice and austerity for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These days we are studying 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in my Bhakti Vaibhav, and in that there is a beautiful verse comes where I think this verse is mentioned. Lord Rishabhadev is instructing his 100 sons, and the verse is Nayam Deho Deha Bhajam Nar Loke Kashtan Kaman Arhate Bhajam Ye Tapo Divyam Putra Kena Yena Satvam Shuddhayet Yashma Brahma Sukhyam Tav Anantam. So in this, Rishabhadev is trying to tell, my dear sons, amongst all the species of life, the life of a human being is very, very rare. So do not engage this human form of life like cats and dogs who are simply enjoying eating stool, but kindly tapo divyam, engage this very human life for the sake of penance and austerity. And by doing so, I don't recall the whole translation. By such activity, one's heart is purified. What is happening? Tapo divyam putrakena yena satvam. By such activities, one heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. Look at that. I mean, what a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. So the whole idea, the sacrifice, austerity, the yoga is meant, to realizing him. All our fruitive activities in a preliminary stage of Krishna consciousness are ultimately rewarded by him only. And he is the supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities, as I said, are performed to know him. Religion, dharma, is rendering loving devotional service unto him. Famous verse of Bhagavatam. Let's see if somebody can remember that famous verse which His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj often recites in many, many of his classes, right at the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in relation to the real occupational duty of a living entity, or the real dharma. What is that real dharma? Anyone?
Is it the dharma part? Oh, sorry.
It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. You can see I'm on the verses today. I don't know what.
Dharma parjita kaitava.
No, Mataji.
No.
Close, but not that close.
Does it have the word apratihata?
It does. It absolutely does.
It's just stuck in my mind, but I can't. But I know the mean. Yeah.
Ahituki aprihata. That's the last word. Right?
So yes.
Even I'm forgetting the first line, and I'm asking.
Maharaj mentions that a lot. Yeah.
Is it ye yathamam prapadyante?
No.
Savai pumsa paro dharma yato bhakti adhoksaje ahituki apratihata
yayatma supasidati. Fantastic, Rupa Mataji. Well done.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Well done. The supreme occupation of the living entity is by which one can awaken to the transcendental or to the pure devotional service to the transcendental Lord, which is completely unmotivated and uninterrupted. So that's what the real dharma is. If somebody again grabs you when you're traveling somewhere and says, I'm sick of all these religions which are going on in the world, really like to enlighten myself of what real dharma is, please quote this verse and tell them that what real dharma is. They will be nothing but impressed, but moved, and but feel closer to Lord Krishna. So why only Krishna? That's the main point. Second point which comes in this verse is, and Srila Prabhupada answers this question in his purport to the 4th canto of 31st chapter, 14th verse, where he says, and also this is mentioned, quoted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in CC Madhya Leela, as pouring water onto the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of the Supreme Personality. So this is the way of understanding how by pouring the waters to the root, we can energize the entire tree. Prabhupada gives another example. He said how by supplying food to the stomach, I think it probably mentions in the purport, but let's read this purport to this verse. Let's beautiful purport, by the way. Who was Rupa Mataji? Would you like to read the purport for us?
Hare Krishna. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, sometimes people ask why this Krishna conscious movement simply advocates worship of Krishna to the exclusion of the demigods. The answer is given in this verse. The example of pouring water on the root of a tree is very appropriate. In Bhagavad Gita 15.1, it is said, Urdhva Mulam Adha Shakham. This cosmic manifestation has expanded downward, and the root is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Lord confirms in the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Krishna is the root of everything. Therefore, rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, Krishna Seva, means automatically serving all the demigods. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Very self-explanatory purport. There isn't much to discuss on this purport. Simply, Prabhupada look at how beautifully he's trying to present an analogy, which is convincing to the point that we may have attachment to Devi Devtas, which is fine. But even if we theoretically accept and try to work on the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, what Prabhupada is trying to give us an analogy, you will soon realize that you will experience a sukha or a happiness which is beyond that mundane happiness which you've been experiencing by worshipping the demigods alone. The reason it becomes, or the reason I'm saying it becomes an happiness which is beyond the material happiness, is because your heart is getting purified, because by worshipping the Lord, you're engaging in devotional service. The word bhakti is related to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan is one who's complete in all the 7 opulences. So when you worship Bhagwan, a bhakta worships Bhagwan through the process of bhakti. That's when the purification of the heart starts to take place. Otherwise, if these 3 things are not present, then the purification is either delayed or troublesome, or it is only slowly building your pious credit so that one day you can come to the platform of directly worshipping the Lord. And now one may ask what harm there is in worshipping Krishna and the different parts of his body, the demigods, and the answer is also given further. And the answer is given is, the point is that by supplying food to the stomach, the indriyas, the senses are automatically satisfied. And if one tries to feed eyes or ears independently, the result is only havoc. Look at Prabhupada's purport. Simply by supplying foods to the stomach, we satisfy all the senses. It is neither necessary nor feasible to render separate service to the individual senses. The conclusion is that by serving Krishna, Krishna Seva, everything is complete. As confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.62, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritta Hoy. If one is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is automatically accomplished. We do not have to individually, separately push ourselves for anything else. Everything is all the pitradans, everything is happening once we are dedicated and surrendered to the Lord in this process of Krishna consciousness. Have I gone over time? I have gone over time, so I do apologize. I think because by the time we finish the translation, it's normally 7 minutes past 8 o'clock. So we'll stop here and take some comments or questions from today's verse, or any reflections if anybody has. Did anybody hear the beautiful class of Sudhapa Prabhu today?
Yes, it was very, very nice.
Yes, Prabhu,
Yes,
very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Did you see how he how he concluded, taking the shelter of the Shastra. And I
Yes.
like the word he used. He used a very powerful word. He said destructive enlightenment. So Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada has come here to, to destroy our material life and to enlighten us and give us spiritual life. And Prabhupada and Sutapa Prabhu used the word destructive enlightenment. And the whole day that word is sticking in my head, you know, destructive enlightenment. And he said, and devotees laughed when, you know, when he said that, you know, are we ready for it? To say to Prabhupada, please destroy our life and give us Krishna, our material life, and make us the devotee of the Lord. Only the pure devotee can pray like that, actually. It's a very powerful prayer because we may be able to say it, but if Krishna was to bestow our mercy on it, I don't know, at least I wouldn't be able to see it as his mercy. I can tell you that for sure. But anyway, that was a very, very nice class Sutapa Prabhu gave today. So yes.
Prabhuji, Sutapa Prabhu also said, be Krishna conscious, be Kali cautious.
That's right. My wife made that comment and she shared with me. We were discussing. That's right. Be Kali conscious and be Krishna conscious. Yeah. Be Kali cautious and be Krishna conscious.
Kali cautious and
yeah, because Prabhupada says that the problem is we are not scared of Maya enough. That's our problem. We walk with a broad chest saying, you know, I'm good with the bead bag in my hand, but still knowing that, you know, both our probably legs are not walking the right or not treading the right path of devotional service. The hand may be in the bead bag, but is our intention aligned with the holy name? Is our attention flowing there? Is the energy flowing there? Probably not in my case, but yeah, that's where we are. Absolutely.
Hare Krishna. We
Hare
also
Krishna.
also had a devotee meeting with Shivram Maharaj today after 45 minutes, and how much he was about 40. You had a 1 hour session, and Shivram Maharaj was glorifying Srila Prabhupada. I mean, because it was his arrival.
Yes.
And for 45 minutes, how much we need to appreciate Srila Prabhupada's what he has done to the world. We just bow down in his lotus feet. It's just so wonderful. We wouldn't be together without Srila Prabhupada, without
That's
Srila
right.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. This Bhagavad Gita is the manual of the life. And what I'm thinking, actually, you know, I don't like to keep things. So let me put it to all of you. And I think it would be nice if we were to have a brainstorming session, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really encouraged us to think how we can expand this Sankirtan movement. So I want to ask you, and I want you to go back and take some time to think today, and maybe tomorrow we'll leave some more time for reflections where you can come back and share with me some thoughts or ideas on how we can benefit the world through this message of Bhagavad Gita, especially in the month of Purushottam Mas. Remember, any austerity, any charity, and what is the best charity? Can somebody give me the answer?
Give the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, spread the knowledge of Krishna consciousness to the world. So any charity, any austerity, any penance performed in this month, my dear friends, even higher than Kartik month, much, much higher than Kartik month. So it's a very special month. I don't know if you've heard the wonderful pastime, how this month came into the play and how it was the worst month. And by the benediction of this Mal Mas, Mal means the dirt of the body is called Mal. So whatever excess is left is called Mal. So this Mal Mas was benedicted directly by Lord Vishnu, who from Vaikuntha planet took this Adhik Mas, predominating deity, Mataji, back to Golok Vrindavan in front of Krishna, asking for benediction. I won't go into the detail today, but I'll be happy to share the story if you've not heard of the story. This is a conversation which is taking place between Krishna and the Pandavas. It's really, really beautiful story. Have you heard of it?
No,
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay,
yes.
some of you have. So maybe tomorrow, if there is a time, I'll try to touch base on this story. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. How this month comes into place and what are some of the glories of the month. We'll try and cover some of it. And then so we can prepare our consciousness. So I want you to think, like, you know, I've had devotees messaging me, Hema Mataji, that Prabhu, we need to do this. We need to contact these people. We need to give out these many boxes of Bhagavad Gita. So this is how a devotee is always thinking, you know, that how can I expand this message of Bhagavad Gita and benefit other people? So take your time and think how we can, my ideal
suggestion and request to all of you would be that try to find people, give them the Bhagavad Gita, and start at least once a week little chat group with these people you're going to contact. And even if you meet with them once a week with even one person or two people, or no matter how many people, at the end of the month have a goal that I want to distribute these many Bhagavad Gitas, invite these many people, and I'm going to start a little chat session at least once a week, if not once in 2 weeks, so whatever you can do in your capacity. And that's how we can take this message, not only give the Gita, but read the Gita with the people. And that would be such a pleasing thing for Srila Prabhupada. He wants, there is so much of earth has to be covered, ladies and gentlemen. And I know we are not perfect. I'm not pure. But one thing is there, that the hand of our acharyas is on our head to say that, okay, we are trying our best. And in the process of trying, we are also trying to encourage others. So by together encouraging each other, we can really progress in Krishna consciousness. So we will be having a separate session on brainstorming of it, not in the chat session, probably a separate session, and I'll share the link with all of you once I've decided the time. And then we can have a little brainstorming on how we can come up with some thoughts and idea. Globally, we are thinking, many devotees are coming together. So we will be having that session as well. Any last comments or questions before we close?
I like to just mention, because I started many years ago, because Chintamani Dham Mataji, she in the temple, we used to, many years ago, we started doing this Bhagavad Gita discussion in a small group, and it expanded a lot. And then by Krishna's mercy and Chintamani Dham's, the pushing thing, and I started doing with a small, just 2 people, my next door neighbor and 2 other people, started doing the same way at Chintamani Mataji talk about Bhagavad Gita discussion. So, and then one of my friends, she now very much into Krishna conscious, and she's in our Sangha, and she got Bhagavatam 2 years ago. And now I do regularly on Mondays with 3 others, Sangha member. Every Monday we do it for 1 hour. So that way we can do groups and groups. We can.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the goals we are thinking is to have 1 million devotees coming together and chanting a chapter of Bhagavad Gita Purushottam month.
Yes.
We are matching times. Devotees are taxing their brains. We had a very good call today, and we are all thinking, and I'm encouraging you to think, because all the ideas comes from all of you, because you're all empowered by Srila Prabhupada. So think of, like, one of the things I was thinking, why not each one of us, a month is enough to distribute at least 108 Bhagavad Gitas. One Bhagavad Gita is like £5 for donation, and we can try to distribute whatever you can, but that's one thought. But have a think of what we can do, like read Gita and distribute Bhagavad Gita in this month. And how wonderful would it be to reach out to some of the people, organizations in these times, and give them this wisdom, because be it or not, things are not looking very bright again. There are cities going back into the lockdown, and yeah, I mean, it's not the best time to be for the material existence anyway. It's never the best time, but it's probably the best time to expand this book. I was speaking with Sutapa Prabhu yesterday, and he's saying we need to be ingenious. We need to come up with these ideas, and the books have to go. Now Bhagavatams have gone. They will do its damage on the material energy, no doubt. But now we need to think of how Bhagavad Gita can go out. So I'm requesting all of you to think of this month of Purushottam month, tonight and tomorrow. At least one idea you can all share on the chat box tomorrow with me. That will be really nice. Until then, if anybody has any reflection, I have Divya Gaurangi Mataji, who's given her reflection here. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the enlightening class. It's nice when you ask questions. It makes one thing and try to recollect our learning. It helps to churn the understanding and food for thought. Thank you, Mataji. And I'm sorry, I know we can't have reflections on the group, but we'll see how it goes. You can share it on the chat box, and I can read them out here. But I know that how much you all are in sync with the Bhagavad Gita, and I really appreciate all of your efforts in not only coming together and reading it, but also trying to think how we can benefit the world with this literature. Prabhupada worked very, very hard. It was his dream for this Bhagavad Gita to be published, not once, not twice. It was the 3rd time he had to write the manuscripts, as you know. Twice it was gone missing. One, unfortunately, his wife sold it for the cup of tea or few cups of tea. And second, it was stolen in a box of Prabhupada in America. And 3rd time, Prabhupada sat down to write this. And imagine what this Bhagavad Gita has done to the world, ladies and gentlemen, in these 50 years of ISKCON being established. It has done wonders to the life of the professors, people all over the world. And we need to get better at Gideon's Bible. You know, you got to give the Bhagavad Gita as much as possible out. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. And Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everybody.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you so
Thank
much.
you, devotee.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you.
1 month we're going to recite chapter 15.
Yes, Mataji, 1 month. It's, I think, 28 days altogether, the Adhik Maas. It finishes, I believe, on 16th of October or something like that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.